Hello, dudes and dudettes. Today, you have 30 minutes to find any facts you'd like about the topic of my choosing. Apple. Good fact hunting, everyone.
Big Fact Hunt!
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Big Fact Hunt. I am this week's fact controller, and this week I've asked my fact friends to go and look for facts about Apple computers. Sam Smith, Thom Adams, and Jen Jewell have gone out and compared Apple with apples, found the best facts that they could find in the last 30 minutes, and are about to hit us with them. So, Tom, start us up.
Start us up. Okay. Why are all iPhone products, when they're announced, at 9:41?
Is it this thing?
No, it's not that thing.
Okay.
In fact, that thing comes in later.
Oh, okay,
So,
good.
It's
Cool.
10 past 10.
So all Apple products, when they're pictured, when they're first announced, are all at 9:41. And the reason for that is the absolute perfection of timing that Steve Jobs would do with his speeches. So he would do the announcement for the product, and it would take 40 minutes, and he'd have it down to an art. And then at the point of 40 minutes, he would announce the product, and it would go up on the screen. And at that point, 9:41.
Whoa.
So they would always
Why
have it
did
at
they
the
launch
time
at
of
9
announcement.
o'clock?
Yeah, I mean, Steve Jobs had a pretty weird lifestyle, so I guess he was up and early.
Yeah.
Before that, they were photographed at 9:42. There is one exception, and Sam, you hit on it. There is one exception to it, and that is the Apple Watch, because all watches are announced at 10 to 10. You know, because 9:41 would be like that. I don't know why that's so weird. Like that, maybe like a little, and so they're like, that looks weird. So the Apple Watch is pictured at 10:10. But all Apple products, if you see the clock, it's at 9:41.
I'll pass it over to Jen for the next fact. Thanks.
So nowadays we think of Apple products as being quite sort of self-contained. You know, the whole concept is you can sort of do everything with your phone or your watch or your laptop or whatever Apple products you have. But the Apple One was BYO everything. It was basically just a circuit board. You had to provide your own case, keyboard, and monitor.
That's funny.
You couldn't interact with it in any way, shape, or form. You needed to buy the hardware to. Yeah. They've always been good at getting you with the accessories, but at least now you get a screen.
Did you see how much it cost?
No, I didn't look
Yes.
that up.
Yeah, it was $666.66. 66666. Yeah.
That fact goes to the bottom. All right.
And that was I'm just throwing that fact away. That's nothing to me. And that's because Steve Wozniak liked the symmetry of it, which I don't think is right, because you put a line down the middle, you've got your decimal point on one side, and a 6 isn't symmetrical at all. That doesn't work as well. Steve Wozniak's an idiot.
Apple's always been about minimalist design, but that's maybe taking it a bit too far.
Yeah.
Sam, so over to you.
Steve Jobs is a copycat. Oh, what do I mean by that? This is based around the mouse. Like Steve Jobs invented the mouse, but he did that by going over to Xerox and noticing that they had a very similar thing to a mouse that had 3 buttons on it. He said, I'm just going to take away one of the buttons. There we go. I've invented the mouse. Double-click mouse. Yep, that's me. I did it. Steve Jobs. I'm the inventor of this.
To be fair, that is closer to the amount of buttons that a normal mouse has, so it's more accurate.
Isn't it funny that a copycat made a mouse?
Ooh.
A copycat hunted down a mouse.
A copycat made a mouse.
He just sort of brought it in and left it half dead on the floor.
Yeah.
One of its
No,
buttons
it's
had
a
fallen
gift.
off
It did.
where it had been playing with it.
It's over to Jen Jewell for what do you got to hit us with?
So the Apple Macintosh, which was one of their most successful products, is named after an apple.
Probably.
So Jeff Raskin, who was the employee who decided that he was going to work on this, like the idea was it was going to be a personal computer that was accessible to everyone. So it was easy to use, it was lower cost. And when he was thinking about what to name it, he was like, well, I work at Apple and my favorite apple is a Macintosh. So why don't we do that? And the Macintosh is the official apple of Canada. And I looked for other countries that have national apples and I couldn't find any.
Our national apple is the kiwi fruit.
No, that's incorrect. The national apple of New Zealand is the Broburn.
That's good.
Yeah.
I was looking for any apples named after Steve Jobs, and fun fact, that sentence is impossible to search for on Google. But England has a national apple register, which I looked on for a little while, and all I found was one called Stevenson Wealthy, which Steve's son is probably very wealthy.
So over to Sam for your second fact of today's podcast.
I know exactly what I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to talk about a fact that Steve Jobs was a doctor. No, Steve Jobs was adopted.
Those are two very different things.
I know, he wasn't adopted. He was adopted out by a I want to say Syrian family. That seems wrong, but we only had 30 minutes and I didn't have time to double check that. I feel like his dad was Syrian. Yes, I'm going to stick with that. His dad was Syrian. They adopted him out because he got his partner pregnant while they were at college. They said, "Hey, we want to adopt you out to an educated family," but they didn't. They got adopted by the Jobs family, who the dad. And the thing I read, it said he was a high school dropout. He turned out all right. And a sad thing to the end of this funny story is that Steve Jobs never met his real father, but just before he died, they exchanged a few short emails. That's kind of nice, I guess.
That's grimdark.
Yeah, Steve's dad should have covered his floppy disk.
Yeah.
Over to Tom.
I have a question for you all. Is the letter J edible?
Oh,
Yes.
Is the letter J edible?
Edible. And
When I was a
lean
kid,
back.
I used to get those chocolate letters for my birthday, and because my name starts with J, I would get a J letter. So yes.
Well, the answer, according to an Italian court, is no.
Yeah.
And this is actually very
Jen.
important. There is an Italian fashion company called Steve Jobs, who was established in 2012 because they established the company and then were looking at names. They went, "Oh, Steve Jobs hasn't trademarked his name, so we will name our company Steve Jobs."
Amazing.
So they trademarked Steve Jobs. He took them to court. Oh, and the best part is, so they did this. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're just having some fun." Their logo is a J, but with a leaf off the top and a bite out of the side of it.
Incredible.
So Apple took them to court in Italy, and the court decided that they didn't breach copyright because a J is not edible, and therefore it is not a rip-off of the bite of the apple.
What kind of company were they?
They're a fashion company. Yeah.
Oh, it would have been so much better if they were like a find your next job, like Steve Jobs.
Yeah. My favorite part of it is, like, you look at their Wikipedia page and it's we're a fashion company, but we are thinking of doing electronics.
I just love the idea that you could have like a nice leather handbag and people be like, "Oh, what's that?" And you're like, "Steve Jobs."
And then they just start
Pretty
taking
nice.
the piss and release like the all black turtleneck range.
Yeah, that's basically what they have to do.
Anything you
Eh?
want. Sam, it's your turn to kick us off for the third round.
Great. Well, Kenny, would it be all right if we start off with a bit of a game?
I don't see why not.
This game is called...
Oh
Apple
wait,
Pro-
you can't play games on Apple.
I'm still going to do it though. This game is called Apple or Apple Product. I'm going to say the name of either an Apple or an Apple product, and you have to tell me which one it is. All right.
I like this game.
First one. Discovery. Is that an Apple product or an apple?
Apple product.
It is a delicious edible apple. Well done, Jeb.
Damn it.
Kenny, I noticed you didn't vote or didn't have a
No,
guess.
I glitched out for a bit, and now it's saying my internet connection is unstable. So
Cool, great.
Yep.
Are you on
Mum's
a,
unstable.
are you
with
on,
you.
are you on an Apple product?
I am on an Apple product.
Yeah, nice.
That's
Can
your
I just
problem.
say I'm on Windows and we're going just fine, my
Yeah.
boy. anyway, next one. The next one is Kanzi. Kanzi. Is that an Apple or an Apple product?
Is it
It's
with
an
an
Apple
S or a
product.
Z?
With a Z.
Apple
Ooh.
product.
Tom says
I'm
Apple
gonna go-
product.
I'm
Apple.
going to go apple that you eat.
Nom 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 nom.
Congratulations, Jen and Kenny. It is an apple. Tom, you were 0 from 2.
Does
Jen,
Apple
you-
make anything?
Well, we'll see with this next one. I may have only found 3 things. The next one is Flower Power. Flower Power. Is that an
Product.
Apple or an Apple product?
I'll go apple.
I'm in for a penny. I'm an Apple product, but I'm in for a penny, in for a pound now. If I switch to Apple, it means that my winning formula is over.
Smart move, Tom. That is an Apple product. That is the name of one of the iMacs that had the flowers on the side. And I'll do one more. Jazz.
That is an Apple. That's an Apple.
Is it both?
Actually, yeah.
It's a Honda as well.
It's definitely an Apple, but it's like an Apple you can buy at Countdown. So that feels like a trick question to me, and I think it's both.
Incorrect, Jen. It is an edible apple. I do actually want to do one more. It's rose gold. Is that an Apple or an Apple product? Rose gold.
I thought there was a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
It's the color of my last iPhone.
Is it an Apple or an Apple product?
I'm going to say Apple product.
I'm going to say Apple.
Apple product or porn star.
Well done, Tom. Sorry, Jen. That's two in a row that you've screwed up and ruined all. You started strong, but you crashed into the ground like a Windows.
The formula, guys.
The reason I wanted to talk about rose gold is because those were the. You're right, Jen. It was like the color that they used for their phones. They used them for their AirPods, and those AirPods you could buy originally for $29, and then just a few months later, they got so popular and they were quite rare that you could buy them. You had to buy them online for $25,000 for those AirPods, the ones that you lose almost instantly.
Tom, can you beat that?
So we know about how Apple names their Mac operating systems after different things. Mac named their Mac OS after the same animal 4 times.
What?
Yep.
Different languages?
Nope. So their first one was Hera, which we're going to ignore that. Then there was Cheetah. And then there was Puma. And there was Jaguar or Panther. And then there was Panther. And then there was Tiger. And there was Leopard, which is the Panther. And then there was Snow Leopard, which is the Panther. So if you were to be really accurate about this, then their Mac operating servers were Cheetah, Puma, Panther, Panther, Tiger, Panther, Panther.
So what were the ones that are Panthers again? Panther is a
Jaguar's
panther.
Leopard's a panther.
Leopard's a panther.
Snow Leopard's a panther. Panther's actually not really a panther.
So panther is a thing, and there are subcats.
A panther is a melanistic leopard.
Or jaguar.
Or jaguar. And a jaguar is a...
Panther. They all belong to Pantera, the band.
Yeah.
What does melanistic mean?
It's the opposite of albinistic or leucistic. It means an overproduction of melanin.
Oh,
resulting in dark colouring.
Yeah,
they're a melanistic pea waka waka, and they're incredibly cute. They have little brown tummies, and the rest of them is black and grey. They're really cute.
Jen, what fact do you have for us to finish off this third round?
Did you know that Apple saved us all from a dystopian future?
Whoa!
In the opening days of 1984, i.e. the year that Orwell warned us about, there was a game in America. Now, you may have heard of it. It's called the Super Bowl. And what happens during the Super Bowl is they have these really big ad campaigns. And in 1984, Apple ran one called, imaginatively, 1984. And it was directed by Ridley Scott. It cost $1.5 million to make. And it depicted a woman running, representing the Macintosh computer, saving humanity from a world of conformity run by Big Brother. So I just want us all to take a moment and be really grateful that Apple saved us from a future where a dystopian future where disinformation abounds and we can be monitored remotely at all times.
Thank you so much.
That never happened.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we avoided that. That would have been really dark.
It's over to Tom again.
So did you know that if you have an Apple product, you could potentially void the warranty by smoking? This is the thing. So apparently there have been a couple of cases where people have brought their computers into Apple to get fixed up, and Apple have gone, there's been a heavily smoking, in a room where people have been heavily smoking, and the computer reeks of cigarette smoke, and the technicians have refused to work on it. And Apple have supported the technicians and gone, look, we're not going to work on this because it's reeks of cigarette smoke. Wow. So yeah, you can void your warranty if you smoke around your Apple product.
That's the same with children as well.
So Apple deems those people too stinky for help.
Yeah. Which is fair.
Some things would be easier to get smoke into than others, though, right? Like one of those old school iMacs, the big bubble case, that I can imagine getting.
You can breathe right into the hole.
We're so cool.
Jen, what have you got to cheer us up this time?
Well, shamelessly playing on your science background, I'm sure that we're all aware that Apple, their logo references Isaac Newton discovering the theory of gravity by getting wanged on the head by an apple.
Wanged on the head. It's quite different.
That's what happened. He sat under a tree and an apple wanged him on the head and he went, oh, gravity. So I looked into the history of the Apple logo, and the famous apple actually only came about in their second year of business. So for the first year, they had this really beautiful, it looks like one of those Ex Libris book plates. And it's got this beautiful scroll design on the top and bottom, and then it's got this beautiful like engraving style picture of Isaac Newton reading under a tree.
It looks like a bottle of cider.
It does look like a bottle of cider,
Exactly,
but like a general alcoholic beverage cider that would be like 23%.
Yes,
like dangerous cider.
Yeah, the kind that makes you blind.
Yeah. And when I was looking into it, I forgot that they used to be like a funky rainbow thing before they went all somber black. So I looked into the timing, and they went rainbow in 1977, which was the year that they adopted the Apple symbol. And that was the year that Harvey Milk was elected as the first openly gay elected official in America. And then they went back to black in 1998, which presumably is because they'd achieved their goal of getting Cyprus to repeal homosexuality as a law.
They did it. That was what they set the company up to do, and they bloody did it. Good on you, Steve Jobs.
Well done.
And at 9:41 a.m.
Is there anything Apple can't do? Like, yeah, my God.
Pure cancer, apparently.
Fuck, Jen, that was such a good joke.
Didn't Steve Jobs refuse to get treated for like the first couple of years?
Oh no, he did. He did get treated. He just got treated with bullshit nonsense that has no basis in scientific fact.
Yeah.
And then just when he was really sick, he was like, "Oh, actually, I will go back onto Western medicine if that's right." And they said, "What are you doing? Pancreatic cancer. You're going to be dead in a minute."
You're at the stage where we just pump you full of morphine and say sorry.
And say, good
it's
luck.
The worst cancer. What are you doing?
Yeah, you saw what happened to Swayze.
I do also find it slightly ironic that the head of Apple put his faith in oranges.
Oh, that's very good.
The reason Steve Jobs didn't see a doctor, though, was that he had an apple a day. None of them will come near him.
Sam, what have you got for us?
I've got a perler of a fact, and I'm so glad that no one else has said it. So, did you know that Steve Jobs was born in 1955, the same year that Disneyland was born? Did you know that Apple is now based in a town called Cupertino or something like that? I don't know. We only had half an hour to look it up. It was something like that. And that is a mere 6 hour and 20-minute drive from Disneyland. But most importantly, and this is my fact, did you know that Apple was founded on the exact same day, David? The exact same day that John Lennon's dad died. Fact over. I know literally nothing more about that. That is a great fact that you can tell your friends and they'll be impressed. John Lennon's dad never experienced Apple because he was dead.
Fantastic. So it's not just Ben with the happy facts today.
So many people have not experienced Apple, including Isaac Newton.
You mentioned Disney twice in that, and still it ended up sad.
Walt Disney never experienced Apple products.
Because he died in
but he will when he gets defrosted. Jen, could you get us all underway?
The Macintosh computer succeeded out of spite.
Huh? You what?
So the Macintosh was being worked on at the same time as the Lisa, which Steve Jobs named after his daughter. And then he got kicked off the Lisa project. And then he decided he was going to work on the Macintosh project instead. And the thing about the Lisa that made it amazing was it was the first personal computer that had a graphical user interface, which is basically instead of typing commands, like all I can think about is text-based RPGs, go left, pick up sword, look at tree, you could actually move a mouse around and click on a command or an area of the screen.
Can I tell you a supplementary fact to that?
Yes.
Lisa Simpson from The Simpsons is named after that.
Is she?
I don't know.
That's
I made that up,
cool.
but I feel like it sounds like it could be true.
That feels right.
Yeah, cool.
Well, the timing would line up because The Simpsons started in the early mid-80s.
The mid-late 80s, yeah.
Mid-late 80s, okay. Well, the Lisa came out in the early 80s.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jobs was working on the Macintosh by then. And so he decided that the Macintosh would be better and cheaper and more graphical than the Lisa, so that he could destroy the project that he had named after his daughter because he wasn't allowed to work on it anymore.
That's great.
Sam, please make me smile again.
Okay, I want to tell you about Tim Cook, who is the head of Apple, or maybe was. I don't know. We only had half an hour to look it up. At some point, Tim Cook, he took over from Steve Jobs when Steve Jobs died. So Tim Cook took over. Someone accidentally outed him that he was gay. That's beside the point. That's not part of my fact. My real fact is that he once tweeted a picture of the factory where they make Apple products. And in that picture, the computers they were using were Windows-based computers.
Well, it makes sense. In a factory environment, you want reliability. So
that's right. Yeah.
That's sensible.
Yeah, you don't need to be like uploading video stuff and editing it. No, you need computers that work.
Tim Cook offered to give Steve Jobs part of his liver. Steve Jobs said, never! That's apparently the way it worked. He was like, no! Apparently they have a similar rare blood type.
Oh, do you know what type?
Apple O.
What blood type are you, Tom?
I'm O positive. No, O negative. I'm the most common one. I can give all of you my blood if you want it. Do you want my blood?
Yeah, I'll take some.
I need a little pick me up.
Yeah, I can give you.
What are you, Kenny? What?
Negative. I honestly don't know what type of blood I've got.
Interesting. Jen, tell me.
Obviously, I'm A positive. A plus all the way, baby.
Do you know what? You might be A positive, but I be negative. I'm quite
rare, Sam.
I'm quite rare. I'm a rare breed, me.
But I can still give you my blood.
You can give it to all of us.
Oh, except
Steve Jobs.
Sam and I can't give our blood to anyone.
Yeah, that's right. Because we lived in England and we have mad cow's disease.
And we got tattooed by a homosexual.
It's Tom's turn.
It's Thom Adams. So if you were to use an iPhone and you downloaded iTunes and you wanted to use that to say, make a nuclear weapon, good luck, buddy, because you can't. You're not allowed to make a nuclear weapon with iTunes.
Which means that's the most bonkers thing I've heard.
That's pretty insane, isn't it? It's part of like the kind of like government regulations, like that you're not allowed to, use American software or whatever to make clandestine nuclear bombs. What this does mean is that there is no possible way that a nuclear device could have a U2 album on it.
Sam.
Steve Jobs was fired from his own company and then rehired. I don't know what the explanation is. I only had 30 minutes, didn't have time to look that up.
Tom, what is your fact for us?
Steve Wozniak was piloting a plane and got into an accident, banged his head, and suffered from retrograde amnesia, which means he had about as much memory as Elisa.
And Jen, to tie us all together and finish this quickfire round, what have you got for us?
In the first quarter of 2021, Apple could have bought the average house in Auckland every 45 seconds. So the average house in Auckland costs $800,000, and Apple in the first quarter of 2021 was making just over $1 million per minute. Sorry, NZ dollars per minute.
When we're living in our grim 1984 futures, do you want to fight for Google, or do you want to fight for Apple, or do you want to fight? Sam wants to fight for Disney.
I want to fight for
Tesla. Elon.
There's only going to be like 3 companies left, right?
That's right. Yeah. So pick sides now. Disney, I'm with you, buddy.
That brings us to the end of all of our facts. And we've had some beauties today, all sorts of great and really depressing facts. Thanks
Jen.
About Apple. Steve Jobs and everything there is to do with it. I mean, Jen, you kicked us off with the mark of the beast. I should have guessed right back then. I think my favorite thing today, but I'm not going to make it the winner. My favorite thing was Sam's game. That was just awesome.
Why wouldn't you make it the winner?
Because it wasn't a fact.
It was like 4 facts about the different things. This is fucking rigged, bro.
It was presented as a quiz, and it doesn't count.
It's mostly apples.
So, my favourite fact for today, of all the facts, and it's only slightly because I'm biased towards animal fact, is Tom's fact that panthers, and leopards are pretty much the same thing.
Thank you all. That was the one fact that I put together that I went, this is weird. I don't think anyone's going to go for this.
That was
It
great.
turns out if you're an insane moron, people like that. So like and subscribe.
And from all of the insane morons sitting and giving you this podcast today, I'm very glad that you came along. Please like, comment, subscribe. Join us again next week for another episode of the Big Fact Hunt.
Bye, everyone.